Good morning. It's August 20th, about a little after 8 o'clock, and I just finished cooking a wonderful breakfast. My standard oatmeal and fresh fruit and nuts. Whenever I have fresh fruit, which is frequently because I'm usually near a grocery store and I always get the fresh fruit. I find that the oatmeal really sustains me uh, through the morning and even into the afternoon. And it's nice to get a good breakfast in you before you start the day. And I've got a pretty big day planned. I'm still in Cutty hunk, obviously, and went into the Inner Harbor last night to have a beer with some friends. Mike Mills and Dave Kirkpatrick were rafted up inside, and we had a nice time talking about YouTube channels and businesses and all sorts of cool sailing stuff. It's always fun to get together with sailing friends and talk about such things. One of the conversations that I had with them briefly was about my long-standing wet deck woes on the SV Tiger Lily. An issue that I really can no longer ignore because the cracks on the deck through the gel coat are getting more noticeable, and I'm a little worried about some weak spots on the deck that may have high structural loads, shear loads. I think mainly it's in the area of the cabin top where the partner is, but that area doesn't seem to be too wet, so maybe I'm okay. All the loads seem to go through the deck into the chain plates and the side holes and the bulkheads, so I think I'm okay. Certainly haven't seen anything that is really disconcerting. The head door under rig loads tends to get out of alignment a little bit. That's one sign that the boat's twisting a little bit, but I don't think it's any issue. There's no bad creaks or groans, and we sail the boat pretty hard. So, gonna head to shore. There's always the battle on any smaller cruising boat with water, and I'm pretty liberal with my water usage. I can be when I'm alone, and even when Lily's with me, it's not a big deal to use water relatively sparingly, but don't deny yourself a shower. You got to wash the dishes. We don't use salt water for anything on this boat. Some people use salt water for a rinse on their dishes, which is smart, or for their head. We use fresh water for everything, just to keep the head smelling better, and just there's no need for it as long as we make the effort to replenish the water supply. This boat is supposed to hold 90 gallons. I'd be surprised if it actually holds 70 or 75, but I go into shore with some 5 gallon jugs and whatever else I have lying around, and fill everything up. Use a water filter, our little RV filter, which maybe helps a little bit. But the last thing you want to do is put tainted water into your tanks. So you're just going to run some things by my viewers here. I know there's not many of them, but it helps me to frame my thoughts. And one of the things that I've always thought, rightly or wrongly, is that I need a bigger boat, or I want a faster boat, or I want to go further, and I want something more comfortable, more seaworthy. And I vacillate back and forth on that. Mainly because, well, there's several reasons. One is that I put so much, Lily and I have put so much work, time, and money into this boat, and to have the deck problems we have now, and the time and expense of repairing it can be pretty damn daunting and depressing. I've got, as I say, a lot of time and money into this boat. I can't look anywhere on this boat without flashbacks of contorting myself into crazy positions, or with fiddly screws in, awkward locations, and all the money that I spent on really first-rate equipment, because I'm kind of paranoid, and I want to be safe, and I want the boat to function well, and I want it to perform well under sail, under power. So one of the things that we struggle with is like, do we really need a new boat? And the answer to that is no. It's certainly not for what we do now, which is really just coastal cruising and living aboard for a couple of months a year. This boat is very comfortable. It does exactly what we want it to do. It's very easy for me to handle single-handed, and even easier when my wife is aboard. So, why do I think I need a bigger boat? Because, bigger's better, obviously, and bigger's more comfortable, and bigger's faster, and all of those things. But as I say, truth be told, don't really need one right now, and just trying to figure out really what it is, what's our repair strategy for the deck, and I don't know, because I think that just doing spot repairs may be out of the question. I think maybe a more extensive job needs to be done all at the same time, and finding somebody competent to do it for a reasonable amount of money. Yeah, I don't know. It just doesn't seem like there's those people around. So we're struggling with that. In the meantime, I spent several hours looking at a little Harbor 42, and Ted Hood was gracious enough to spend his time with me, and I think that's definitely a boat that we could move into, or that could be the next boat. I especially like the layout of the one that we saw with a big master cabin up front, but probably not in the cards right now. Certainly don't have the money for a cash outlay, and I think the time and energy and expense it would take to bring that boat even up to the capability that this one has for just live aboard would take a little time and money. So I don't know. It's fun to look at boats and dream and think about what's next, and eventually Lily and I want to head to places over the horizon, somewhere down the line, maybe after we retire. I don't know, maybe sooner, who knows. But certainly have a good Bahamas boat, certainly have a boat that is ocean capable enough to go to Bermuda, or maybe across the pond. I don't know. I'm not gonna. It's gotta have that mix to it. Shallow enough draft for the Bahamas, but seaworthy enough for the ocean. So that's kind of where we're going and what we're thinking. And this boat could actually do it. It's just, once you get up over, 25, 30 knots of wind, it gets pretty hairy. At least by my standards. Maybe I'm just not robust enough. But, if you're going into the wind, in that kind of wind, which we've done before, 70, 80 miles offshore a couple years ago, it's a bit bouncy, and it's a bit uncomfortable. So having a boat that's another 10, 12,000 pounds heavier with more waterline length is going to make a big difference. So the plan for today is, I think, on the recommendation of some friends, Mark and Ruth Ann, who we met last year in Hadley's. They have a beautiful Bristol 45.5. They recommended that we go to what's the damn place? Quissett Harbor, which is only about 14 miles north of where I'm at here, just north of the inlet for Woods Hole, and it would be a good protected anchorage for me to work from for the week, and maybe go and explore a little bit out at Woods Hole. I understand there's some cool things to see and to do. So, if I have the time, which it's pretty hard for me to find the time during the week, because I know a lot of you guys think I'm just cruising around, having fun, and I'm like, Jesse, you're retired. Well, no, I'm actually planted for most of the day at my desk here, at the table with multiple screens open, and doing what I have to do to manage a major DoD contract. And there's really no difference me doing it from here on the boat while it's stationary, or doing it from home at a desk. I just choose to do it here when I can, because I like being on my boat, and I like going places on weekends, and yeah, this is home for me for several months a year. So that's where all the business magic happens. But as I said, that quandary still exists for us about what to do with the boat, and always looking for good advice from people. I don't, it's all over the map depending on who you ask. If I really think, if I listen to the voices in my head, well, the crazy voices are telling me to buy a new boat, so I'm trying not to listen to them. But the rational voices, what few there are, say, just get the damn deck fixed and keep sailing your boat. You've put too much time and effort into it, and it's a good boat. But probably looking down, the throat of, I don't know, 30,000, at least, basically, what this a little less than what this boat is actually worth on the open market. And in spite of all the great equipment I have on it, and the $80,000, $90,000 I've spent just on stuff, not on services, on stuff. My labor's, thousands of hours of labor for free. And that's what boating is. It's a sunk cost for the benefit of your experiences. So if you think you're buying a boat and you're going to make money flipping or whatever, I mean, I guess there are guys that do that. I think it's insane. But you buy the boat, you put the money into it, you put the effort into it, and sometimes the effort is extraordinary for the experiences. So if you're doing it for some other reason, or you're putting effort into it and not getting experiences out, what are you doing? That's why I end up on this boat for months in the summer, and I enjoy all the work that I put into it. And I can't look at any location on this boat where I haven't put in an extraordinary amount of effort, whether it be the electrical system or the plumbing, or the cosmetics, which are coming along slowly, the instrumentation, the electrical, rigging, sail handling, all of that, and then the expense of buying stuff like a fancy mattress so that we're comfortable. It's only worth it if you use the boat. And I know a lot of people that, at least by my standards, they really don't use their boat very much. So I feel bad for them because, I don't know, I just don't think they're getting out of it what they need to. But that's their choice. My choice is to be on the boat as much as possible. And it's great. And it's even better, it's infinitely better when I have my wife with me. And she'll be back, maybe not up here, but certainly down in the Chesapeake, and we'll do what we do. So here's a view of wonderful, beautiful Cutty hunk, just a super anchorage. It was blowing snot yesterday, and totally flat right here, windy but flat. Wonderful anchorage. Looking forward to my sail today to Quissett, I think Quissett, and I'll check back later with some good sailing footage. Thanks for watching. Hey guys, it's Sunday again, August 20th, and I'm off from the hook at Cutty hunk, and looks like I'm going to Quissett on the advice of some friends. Very protected harbor. Hopefully I can lay the hook down there. I know they have a lot of available moorings, so that's always a possibility. Moorings get a little pricey if you're staying all week, probably 40, 50 bucks a night just to swing off the mooring. Cutty hunk, it's like $55 a night. So I don't know what it is at Quissett. It's going to be a little less than that, but I'm hoping that I can just put my hook down and be fine. But I have another beautiful sailing day here. Just going past the reef onto this island. There's Cutty behind me. And it's just another fantastic summer New England day with a southwesterly. Nice and flat today because I'm sailing up Buzzards Bay, so you don't have the ocean swell in here. Really flat, easy sailing. Yesterday was a little hairy, of course, with waves. the ocean swell and the wind as it piped up there at the end. I guess what you didn't see on my video was, I mentioned the 2 near approaches I almost took with a kite up. I happened to be sensing that something was going on. I went back by the wheel. The auto helm does actually a pretty good job of correcting for it, but I put it onto standby, steered through, eased the spinnaker sheet, and it was fine. But it definitely got a little hairy there. Also lost the spinnaker sheet overboard when the spinnaker started flogging, and somehow the snap shackle came loose. The sheet dropped in the water and off she went. Of course, no 8 knots in the spinnaker sheets, and it was kind of a short one, so once it went in the water it was pretty much gone, which sucks. But always learning lessons out here. I've been sailing for my whole life just about, and I'm always learning new lessons. And learned a lesson yesterday that you have to plan ahead when the wind comes up to douse the kite alone. Even though it's in that sock, it's difficult to douse it so that it ends up on the deck, and really I need to control the halyard from the mast. But I ended up tying the tack line to the mast so that it would drop straight, and I just kind of waited with the timing on the boat to roll correctly. And once the spinnaker was aligned with the deck, I just let it go. I didn't let it go, but I let it down so that it would drop on the deck, raced forward, gathered it, put it down the hatch, which is the safe thing to do. Just stick it down the hatch, deal with it later. Luckily it didn't get wet, but that was the right thing to do, just to get it down there and get the boat secure. And after that I had a very easy 5-mile sail in. There's the Cutty Hunk Ferry. I had a very easy sail in, 5 miles of just the main, a little bit of jib out, licking my wounds a little bit. And now another great day. Just got to take advantage of it. The winters can be long, and I always remember in the winter just sitting around wishing I was out sailing. And you think to yourself that man, I should have taken advantage of that day or this day when I had the opportunity. And I'm glad today that I am taking the opportunity. Look at this beautiful boat. So many beautiful boats up here. I like to say the New England sailors, they have love affairs with their boats because the seasons are so short and they got to get it in. They know they got to get it in, and they love their boats. And they just look at that. It's fantastic. So many beautiful boats up here that the owners really take good care of them. That's not to disparage the Chesapeake owners, but I gotta say, I'm in a big marina and there aren't that many really nice looking boats. People use their boats for what they are, or, most of them keep them at the marina and don't go anywhere, but different strokes for different folks, I guess. So off to Quissett today. Hopefully no drama. I don't think I'm going to raise the kite, even though the angle's quite good for it. I think I'm just going to extend my sailing today. I'm going to head out on a broad reach that way, sailing, in a more northerly direction, and I'll figure out a good jibe angle and come back towards Quissett. It's only 14 miles away. I'm doing, 6-7 knots. It won't take long at all, and I can enjoy the weather, this perfect New England weather today. So I'll check back later when I'm getting into Quissett, see if I get into any trouble. Hopefully not. But I'm going to enjoy this sail today and soak it in while I can. It's a long, cold winter, even in Virginia, as far as I'm concerned. Had a really nice sail down Buzzards Bay, and now I'm gonna try and pay attention here and navigate my way into Quissett. Luckily I got a boat in front of me, so I'm gonna kind of follow him in and see if I can figure out where this anchorage is. Protected harbor. It gets rough right out of it, outside of it, but I think once you get in, it's pretty nice. Apparently there's hundreds of moorings here. Alright, I'm going to pay attention. Here I am in Quissett, anchored, kinda. Not quite sure about this whole anchorage arrangement, but I had some local knowledge, and this is where I think he told me to go. And yeah, kind of close to those rocks over there. It is low tide. To make sure I got enough scope out. It's a beautiful harbor. Seems like it goes way back there. Probably need to think about this a little more carefully. For sure I'm going to have to get a mooring at some point because I got a bit of a problem. This is just what happens with sailing. You know, the whole boat, especially an old boat, is always wearing. And my anchor roller, I knew that it was in bad shape. The screws were coming out. I had rebedded everything. And yeah, the screws, stainless into aluminum, never a great idea. I rebedded them, coated them with Tef gel, but they're still oxidized, and the screws eventually just pulled right out from the load on, bringing up the anchor and deploying it. So great sail today. Got some issues to resolve here. Gotta figure out how to remount this thing somehow. I'm not sure I brought my taps, but got to figure that out. Gonna be a little tough getting the anchor up and storing it without this thing on. I'm gonna have to probably just take the anchor off. Anyway, it's a problem, and that's what happens with yachting sometimes. So that's my story. I'm sticking to it. Great sail today. Great time in Cutty Hunk. Nice harbor here. Nice place to visit. I think I'm going to be here all week, probably on a mooring after tomorrow. Big northerly coming in, and I don't want to be here in a northerly. Not anchored in this spot in a northerly. All right. Hope you enjoy the video.